So if Tanjiro never existed, the incident we saw in the first episode, it ends up being much worse. So Muzan attacks the Kamados. Nezuko survives but turns into a demon, and when she gets up she doesn't know what to do. Then, Giyu Tomioka, the water Hashira of the Demon Slayer Corps, arrives. Nezuko might try and protect her family even though they're dead already, but either way, Giyu has no choice but to take out Nezuko. Then, seeing the remains of the Kamados, Giyu gets overwhelmed with sadness, but he must keep going, so he swears vengeance on Muzan. Then, a few years later in the final selection, Zenitzu, Inosuke, Kanao, and Genya, the four of them make the cut, which is good news for the Demon Slayer Corps. And here, two things can happen. First, one of them takes out the Hand Demon. In that case, nothing really changes from the original plot. But if the Hand Demon does not get taken out, making the final cut only gets harder. As a result, more candidates end up losing their lives, which means the number of Demon Slayers drops significantly, making the Demon Slayer Corps weaker as a whole. Next, a bunch of women go missing in a small town. The Swamp Demon is the one behind their disappearance, and I think Zenitzu will be the one facing off with him. But looking back at the original story, he was farther away from him compared to Tanjiro, so it took him longer to get there, meaning more people fell victim to the Swamp Demon. When Zenitzu gets there, he gets angry, but he fights bravely regardless. And he's quite strong, so I'm sure he would have taken out the Swamp Demon, no problem. Now let's take a further look at what would happen to Zenitzu in a world without Tanjiro. One day he gets a call saying that a demon was spotted in Asakusa. It's Tamayo and Yoshido just like in the original. But then Muzan was also there. And even if Zenitzu knew about this beforehand, there's not much he can do. Can't say that I blame him. Anyways, nothing ends up happening at Asakusa, so Susamaru and Yahaba never get sent to Asakusa. Now, will Muzan try and get rid of Tamayo? Well, in the original, he didn't give the order either. Demons, they can't take out other demons, so if he used the sun, maybe he can use that to take her out. But still, I don't think Susamaru and Yahaba would have been able to pull it off. Going back to Zenitzu, using the sound as clues, he finds Tamayo. Since the sound isn't that scary and she's a woman, he'll probably talk to her. As long as it's a woman, Zenitzu doesn't really mind. And from Tamayo's perspective, he'll appear to be really friendly and not afraid, which is rare. So maybe they'll get along just fine. Then Zenitzu and Yoshido, they might start fighting over her, which is kind of funny. Anyways, Zenitzu befriends her, and this becomes a big advantage for the Demon Slayer Corps. So far, things are working out for him, but slowly, things start to fall apart. First, at the Tsutsumi mansion, he abandons the mission because he can't get inside. Why? Because Tanjiro isn't there. Then at Mount Natagumo, in the original he ends up there chasing after Nezuko, but since Nezuko isn't around, he can't go into the mountain, so again he abandons the mission at hand. And this is just speculation, but I'm pretty sure that abandoning your mission like this is against the rules. So Zenitsu and his Jigoro Kuwajima who raised him, they both end up getting executed. Well, that may be a bit harsh, but either way, I'm sure they'll take Zenitsu out of the front line. He's still really talented, so I'm sure he'll be a big help to them, but his real strength comes out in combat, so, by comparison, not having him in the front line will make the Demon Slayer Corps much weaker. Now let's look at Inosuke. Compared to Zenitzu, things get even worse for him. Since Zenitzu doesn't show up, he has to carry out the mission at the Tsutsumi mansion by himself. There, he goes up against Kyogai, a former member of the 12 Kizuki. Two things can happen here. He takes out Kyogai or he gets taken out. And even if he manages to take him down at Mount Natagumo, he goes into the mountains all by himself. He leaves the other soldiers behind because they're too weak. In the original, Tanjiro notices the web, but since he's not around, that doesn't happen. So he goes in there all by himself, clueless. Then he runs into the father spider demon earlier than the original, and by the time Giyu gets there, he finds Murata dead, along with Inosuke. After that, Giyu and Kocho will probably manage to get things under control, but still, compared to the original plot, the number of casualties will be much greater. Then, at the Hashira meeting, they'll most likely talk about Zenitsu abandoning his mission and how Inosuke lost his life due to miscommunication. It won't be a pleasant meeting, that's for sure. Moving on to the Mugen train. As Kyojuro Rengoku the Fire Hashira heads out, he says they might be upper-rank demons. So the Demon Slayer Corps is taking this very seriously, so they tried to send some backup. In the original, Kocho nominated Tanjiro, but since he doesn't exist, who are they gonna pick? Guessing from Oyakata-sama's past choices, similar to Mr. Natagumo, when they're up against the 12 Kizuki, he sends 2 Hashiras. So in this case, maybe Kocho will replace Tanjiro, or maybe Kanao. Either way, Rengoku-san won't have that conversation with Tanjiro on the train. Then, Rengoku-san or Kocho-san will notice something strange about the conductor, and they'll manage to take out Enmu. And with Akaza, since the boy with the earrings does not exist, I doubt he'll strike back. The Hashiras, they've never seen an upper-class demon before, and this means that Muzan, he's not a big fan of using his upper-rank demons against them. Akaza only showed up because of the boy with the earrings. That means Rengoku-san doesn't lose his life on the Mugen train. Now, moving on to the Yukaku arc. The sound Hashira Tengen Uzui, he heads to Yukaku with Aoi. Then he orders her to sneak in and find the demon. Now 2 things can happen here. In the original, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke worked together to scout out the place, but this time it's just Aoi. So the odds of her finding Daki is 3 times less likely. Let's say she found her at the first place. This may seem like a good start, but it's actually the worst case scenario, because if this happens, they start fighting at the same time as the original, and that means Tengen has to fight Gyutaro by himself. And if that happens, he'll most likely die in battle. Then it gets worse. Obanai arrives at the Yukaku after the fight. Then he runs into Gyutaro and Daki, and he'll likely lose his life too. So, the Demon Slayer Corps ends up losing 2 of their Hashiras, and now Gyutaro is stronger than ever. Okay, let's go back a bit and look at some other scenarios. Tengen orders Aoi to go in, but this time she doesn't find any demons. Then Obanai joins them. Then they find Daki. The 2 Hashiras versus Daki and Gyutaro. It won't be easy, but with 2 of them, I'm sure they'll be able to take them out. But Tengen and Obanai, they're on the brink of death from the poison. Tengen then passes out while his 3 wives watch. Then Obanai follows. So the upper-rank demons got taken out and peace returned to the Yukaku. But the Demon Slayer Corps end up losing 2 Hashiras. Okay, now, spoiler alert, if you prefer watching the anime, you might want to skip this part. Ready? Okay, here we go. At the Swordsmith Village, we find 3 members of the Demon Slayer Corps there: Muichiro Tokito, Mitsuri Kanroji, and Sanemi Shinazugawa. Now, a few different things can happen here. In the original, Gyoko and Hantengu ambush them. If the bruise appears, Muichiro might be able to take out Gyoko, but either way, Hantengu is still there. He kills Kanroji and Shinazugawa. Then he takes out Muichiro, who's already wounded from the battle against Gyoko. After eating the 2 Hashiras, Hantengu becomes even stronger. And another thing, the Yoriichi Type 0 isn't destroyed in this world, so the sword inside, it won't be able to carry on its legacy. Moving on to the next point, the Ubuyashiki Mansion. Does it get attacked or not? Let's say it doesn't get attacked. In this world, Nezuko, the demon who overcame the sun, does not exist, so Muzan? I don't think he'd be in a rush to settle things with the Demon Slayer Corps. In the original, the demon who overcame the sun, Nezuko, she's being protected by the Demon Slayer Corps, so he has motive to take them out so he can get to Nezuko. Maybe that's why he was in a rush and ended up attacking the Ubuyashiki Mansion. But in this world, Nezuko doesn't exist, so he's got no motive to rush things, so the mansion doesn't get attacked, meaning Kagaya Ubuyashiki gets to live for a little longer. But the battle against the demons only intensifies, and things just keep getting ugly. Okay, let's think about the other scenario. The mansion gets attacked just like the original. Maybe Muzan held a strong grudge and he wanted to take them out at all costs. Then he comes face to face with Oyakata-sama, and he ends up taking his life. Then it gets scarier as things take an unexpected turn. In the original, the movement of Muzan was suppressed. The man he turned into a demon in Asakusa used the blood demon art to achieve this. But in this world, Zenitzu gets scared and nothing happens in Asakusa, which means the blood demon art that limited his movements does not exist. Maybe there were other ways, but judging from the original, I'm not so sure. Either way, this puts the Hashiras at a big disadvantage right from the start. Then Muzan? He strikes back with unimaginable power. As a result, the Hashiras get destroyed. Then the upper-class demons gather, and they end up annihilating the Demon Slayer Corps. But there is one thing that's better in this world. In this world, we still have Rengoku, who is as strong as ever, but still I'm not sure if he'll be able to take out Muzan. If someone witnessed the battle of the Hashiras against Muzan and survived, maybe the person will start a movement which ultimately leads to the end of Muzan. But still, even if that happens, that'll take many years, so without Tanjiro, the story ends up being completely different. Needless to say, he plays a critical role in the series, and it's not just him. Every character in Demon Slayer plays a critical role, and without any of them, it just won't be the same. Anyways, that's all for today. Sorry if it was a bit scary. See you in the next one. That's all for now. For more Demon Slayer theories, please like and subscribe for more videos. See you soon.